good. Doing what is wholesome, the second part of the teachings of the Buddha, means being charitable, helping those who are in need of help. It is good to do social work. A lot of Westerners, they have a very good habit when their children are a bit grown up and they have time, they like to do a lot of social work. And for example, in Australia, they have some of these organizations which are voluntary. You join this organization, and then whenever there is some help needed, for example, in Australia, a lot of old people stay by themselves. Sometimes they can't cook or they can't buy food. They are too old to go out, so they need volunteers to go and buy food, regularly for them, to stock up their fridge. And sometimes because they can't cook, they are too old to cook, they need people to bring food to their house every day. So when there's a lot of volunteers, all this can be done. And this is something very good, something that perhaps Buddhists in this country could start. If we do start doing something like this, then it's really worthwhile. Now in the Mangala Sutta, there's a lot of advice given on how to do good, because one Deva, heavenly being, came to ask the Buddha. He said that all beings want blessings. How do we get the highest blessings? And the Buddha said, not to associate with fools, the first one. Associate with wise people. Fools are those who do not know the Dhamma, who do not live their lives according to Dhamma, who do not conduct themselves according to Dhamma, and go on the wrong path. And as a result of that, one day they will be reborn into the woeful plains. Such people we do not associate with. We associate with wise people. Wise people are not necessarily the richest people, are not necessarily the handsomest looking people, not necessarily the most beautiful people. But if they are wise and they live their lives according to the Dhamma, then actually they have a lot of spiritual wealth. They might be more wealthy inside than a person who is a millionaire. And then to respect those worthy of respect, that means our elders, our parents, our uncles, aunties, monks, nuns, etc., teachers. Living in a suitable place. What is a suitable place? A suitable place is a place where you can learn the Dhamma, where you can practice the Dhamma, where you can practice meditation, etc. Malaysia is not too bad. To guide oneself through life by Dhamma. That means to live your life according to the Dhamma teachings. That's very good advice. You get a lot of blessings from that. And then much knowledge of the suttas. Much knowledge of the suttas means either you study the suttas through books or you listen to tapes on sutta teachings. To train oneself in the precepts. Precepts, you have to make an effort to train yourself. Because as we train ourselves in the precepts, then year after year we find the degree, the quality of our precepts or the degree of our purity becomes higher and higher. Gentle speech is another way we can get much blessings. Gentle speech is quite important. We know all people, we have a lot of anger. Most people have a lot of anger inside them. So you just need to press the buttons and they will explode like an atom bomb. So, and that usually happens if you talk very roughly to them, Okay, so gentle speech is necessary if we want to get our message across. If we talk to somebody in a rough way, most often, usually they won't accept whatever we say, even though it might be the best advice. But if you give that advice in a gentle way, then people are more likely to accept it and to listen to you. And if you develop this habit of speaking gently, then people tend to listen to you all the time. because they know that you always speak gently. Then another way to get the highest blessings is to avoid evil friends, because friends influence us very much, especially young people. We are very much influenced by the friends we mix with. Sometimes I've gone to stay in a dark cave in Ipoh, near Ipoh. Sometimes I go to these lonely places like these caves, and I find small boys, 11 years old, 3 or 4 of them, smoking away. And then if you ask them, then you find because some of them start to smoke, and then if the small kid he doesn't do the same thing, then he's said to be a coward or something. So he has to show that he's more manly, so he has to follow the crowd. So that is why that way friends influence us a lot. So either directly or indirectly. And evil friends again are those foolish people who don't know the Dhamma, who don't live their lives according to Dhamma. More generally speaking, are those who like to live their life, as they say, wine, women and song, jolly kaki, jolly friends. And then another way to get the highest blessing is to support one's parents. We owe a lot to our parents because they were those who helped us when we most needed help, when we are young and helpless. Without our parents, many an occasion we would have passed away, we would have died because of some sickness. Some of you might remember when you are sick with high fever, your mother carried you around when you can't sleep at night. The mother got to doi you to sleep. And then supporting one's wife or husband and children. That means if you have a family, then you have to carry out your family responsibilities. Once you start a family, you must be responsible. If you're not responsible, you shouldn't start a family. And then helping relatives and friends. Relatives are friends, are those that are close to us. If we help them, then when we are in need of help, they will also help us. Then practice of humility. Humility is one of those qualities long time ago people like to practice, but nowadays very few people practice humility. If you practice humility, people think you are a fool nowadays. So it's a very good quality to practice if you have any interest in the spiritual path. Contentment is another one, especially now with the economic recession. You can't have things as good as before. You have to be contented. And if you are contented, it doesn't matter. As long as we get 2 meals a day, we have a roof over our head, we should be happy enough. When we think, especially when we think of people in Africa who are suffering so much, or people in Russia, I'm sure some of you have seen the papers how some places they have to go to the garbage areas to go and scavenge for food. Go to all the rubbish to look for something edible, just like rats and crows. Then to have gratitude, to be grateful to our teachers, to be grateful to our parents, our uncles and aunties, our grandparents and all those who have helped us. Gratitude also is a very important quality. But it's so uncommon in the world. The Buddha says one of the persons who are very rare to find in the world is somebody with gratitude. Then discussion of Dhamma. After we have learned the Dhamma, there are many points that we are not clear about. It's good to ask and discuss with friends who know the Dhamma, who have an interest in the Dhamma, or some teacher, monks, etc. Even the Arahants, whenever they meet in the evening, during the Buddha's time, they would also discuss the Dhamma. Then another important quality is forbearance or patience. Sometimes people are not good to us, and we have to bear. Sometimes it's hard to bear, then we have to think, perhaps it's our karma. Perhaps we did the same thing to somebody in the past. That's why we are getting it back now. If we think in terms of, in that way, then it becomes a bit easier to bear, sometimes. Because sometimes we think, it's very unjust. Why that person behaves like this towards me? So I suppose the only logical way to see it is that it's a working of karma. Another important quality is meekness. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God, or something like that in the Bible. Meekness is like humility, very good quality to practice. Instead of always trying to assert our rights, trying to fight for our rights, sometimes we just practice meekness, then what we deserve, we will get it. We will get it. You must always remember karma is very fair. Eventually, karma is very fair. Then seeing monks, samana dasanam. Seeing monks is a blessing, but a lot of Chinese don't think so. And they see a bald-headed monk, some of them very unhappy. They think sway, bad luck. But in the Indian tradition, when they see a monk, they are very happy. That's why sometimes I am quite happy to see Indian people on the road. They'll greet me. Chinese won't greet a monk. Indian people will greet a monk. Then making effort in the spiritual path. Whatever we have learned in the Dhamma, we make an effort to put it into practice. All these are ways of getting the highest blessings.